More Christians were massacred after the Reformation because they believed in rebaptism than Christians who were killed in the lions and the persecutions of early Rome. And here we take it all for granted. Today you can be baptized any way you wish. And we think we have it bad, and we say times have never been worse, but in many respects times are still very good. We're meeting here without us being arrested and without, there may be people here wondering what I'm going to say, but we have freedom to be able to do that. Folks, take a deep breath. When you see everything that has been nailed down being torn up, would you please remember people of God have been here before. And there were people of God, as we shall see, who were involved in Judah, and they trusted God in the midst of heartache, famine, persecution, nakedness, peril, sword, and all the other things. So just know that we've been here before. Second, standing for truth and righteousness can be very lonely. Standing for truth and righteousness can be very lonely. Jeremiah was called to this task of being a prophet. And I love the first chapter, which we don't have time to turn to, but you probably know it. God says, Jeremiah, I've called you from your mother's womb to be a prophet to the nations. And he said, Lord, I'm so young. Please choose somebody else. And God says, no, I've chosen you. In other words, when you were formed in your mother's womb, it was already determined that you were going to have this assignment. And then God goes on to say, Jeremiah, I know you're scared, but you are going to be a bronze pillar. You're going to be a walled city. And you are going to be strong because I will be with you and with your mouth. Now, Jeremiah, we know more about him personally than any other prophet because he tells us he wanted to give up the faith. There's a passage in which he says, Lord, I've believed in vain. Where are you now? And then they throw him into a pit and there are all these false prophets. There were hundreds of prophets during his time, but there was only one Jeremiah. But he stuck with it, and he ended up very probably dying in Egypt, and there he is, a prophet of God. But God was saying to Jeremiah, Jeremiah, you're going to be alone. When you give your message, nobody else is going to be around to believe you. The people are going to spit on you. They're going to call you names. They're going to go running to the false prophets whom they love to hear. But I'm going to make you a walled city and a bronze pillar so that I'm going to give you the stamina that it takes to stand up for truth. It is becoming lonelier and lonelier in the United States to stand up for truth. And I mean that on so many different levels, not only moral truth, but even doctrinal truth. And Jeremiah resisted his call, but God says, I'm with you. And today you may want to resist your call, but God is saying, I'm with you. I'm with you in that school district. I'm with you when the teacher teaches homosexuality to your sixth graders. And I'm going to give you the wisdom that you will need to stand against this and how to lead your children properly, because I will never leave you nor forsake you. And even though times are hard, I will be with you, says the Lord. So it is lonely to stand for truth, but God stands with us in this truth.